It's been a long time coming. Pause. Well, Oscar de la Hoya finally reveals the real pay-per-view numbers that Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney did. And that number is a little bit over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I really thought it did more, but Oscar de la Hoya finally said it because he's tired of Devin Haney and Bill Haney trying to get more money from him. So there is no more money to get paid for either Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia. That is it. That is all. Now, because of this, some people are going to say that the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis that did 1.2 to 1.4 million pay-per-views sold is going to be because of Tank Davis, because the Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight flopped. Well, 300,000 pay-per-view sales is still a great number, but not for being Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. You would have thought they would have at least sold like Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Now they did like 600K or something like that, or almost 700K. So I really thought it was gonna sell like that. Let's compare this fight to the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank the Ghost Martin that happened a few months ago. Now they sold over 400,000 pay-per-view buys, and Ryan Garcia sold over 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Now that is 100,000 pay-per-view buy difference, and I already know people are gonna compare both of them, but I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what really happened on both fights. But before we get to that point, let's talk a little bit of what happened between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, since they were both competing for pay-per-view sales. When these two undefeated fighters actually fought each other, it was at a 136 pound fight, and it was at a catch weight and a rehydration clause. But that's not the point. The point is, when they both fought, they were both undefeated, and they both sold 1.2 to 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. And the whole question was, who was the main reason that they sold so many pay-per-view buys, especially at a time where everybody pirates these fights? Now, because of this reason, the whole boxing world was split up. Some people believe it was Gervonta Tank Davis who sold that much pay-per-views, and some people believe that it was Ryan Garcia that sold that many pay-per-views, because Ryan Garcia did brought a large following that was really casuals, or sometimes they were not even casuals. There were just a bunch of chicks that used to like Ryan Garcia. My sisters like Ryan Garcia, and there's a bunch of girls that I know that do like Ryan Garcia and actually bought the pay-per-view. So because of that reason, I really thought it was Ryan Garcia that brought all those pay-per-view buys, especially when they were both undefeated. There was always a question mark if they would lose or not. Even though Ryan Garcia has not been a champion yet, he's still undefeated, and he still sold that many pay-per-views because he was undefeated. And not just that, look, Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga, it did pretty well, and Edgar Berlanga has not even fought any world champion or even fought for a world title, but it did very well because he was undefeated. And I've been saying this for a very long time, and thank God the boxing world already know what to do with this fact. Alright guys, first let's talk about Frank Martin versus Gervonta Tank Davis. Now these guys did great numbers, 400,000 pay-per-view buys, and Frank Martin is not really a big name to the casuals, but to the boxing world, he is a known name. He's not a loser. He is like one of the top level fighters, right? But there's a thing though, they had a stacked undercard. They had David Benavidez on the undercard, and David Benavidez has fought in its own pay-per-view. So you know what? Gervonta Tank Davis did need a lot of help to get those 400,000 pay-per-view buys. How well do you think he would have done without David Benavidez on the undercard? Alright guys, and everybody that has been following my channel, my very small channel at the moment, well, everybody knows I'm not biased or I'm not racist, and I tell it straight like it is. Even though I'm more of a Ryan Garcia fan than a Tank Davis fan, I'll give it to you raw and uncut. Pause. But yes, guys, I will always tell you the truth. I won't lie. And if I ever do lie, I won't lie. But I will tell you that I was wrong. And yes, also Ryan Garcia only sold 300,000 pay-per-view buys with the right dance partner, Devin Haney. Now these guys had a past history in the amateurs. They were 3-3, and this fight was called This One Counts. So this was going to be the 7th time that they faced in fighting. Who knows if they even sparred before? That's not counting sparring, but actually competing, this was going to be the 7th time. And they did not have a stacked undercard. Also, Ryan Garcia, instead of promoting the fight, to me, he was demoting that fight because I was not even gonna buy the fight. That's how bad it was. And I'm a Ryan Garcia fan, but in the end, I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy the pay-per-view anyways, because this is Ryan Garcia. Even though he's acting crazy, going to different platforms that are not even about boxing and talking about some random stuff, I still bought the fight because I'm a big Ryan Garcia fan. I'm also a big Tank Davis fan, but I'm more of a Ryan Garcia fan. So I do believe the Ryan versus Devin Haney fight could have sold a lot more pay-per-views, but Ryan Garcia kind of killed it for himself, acting all crazy and just demoting the fight. He was not even training. He was drinking at the weigh-in, and he was just doing some random stuff, kicking it with only fans chicks. You know what I'm talking about. Look it up. You'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he was just doing that, and I was like, man, he's gonna kill his sales, and he did. The gate was not sold out, and I believe that he killed his pay-per-view numbers as well. I believe he would have done higher if he would have took this training camp more serious, and he would have been all in for the fight and say that he's ready. I think he would have sold a lot more, kind of like Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Not no Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, because Tank is bigger than Devin, right? Also, because of the Haneys trying to sue Oscar De La Hoya, he did a clapback Thursday, just yesterday, and he said that the Haneys just don't sell, and they think that they owe him still more money. Well, they think Oscar still owes the Haneys more money, but the fight did only 300,000 pay-per-view buys, and they already got paid for what they were owed. But they said that if they really wanted to see how much they sold, they both live in the same city in Las Vegas, in Henderson, Nevada. He says, hey, Bill Haney, you could have just came to my house and knocked on the door, and I would have showed you the book. But hey, guess what, guys? I ain't the biggest, I'm the freaking baddest.